What better way for a son and father to bond over than their mutual love for the Dallas Cowboys? Hi, I'm Michael Davis with my dad, Mack. We're a star-studded son and dad duo on the star-studded Cowboys Network, powered by Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting. And this is Dad and the Boys. Welcome to Dad and the Boys. I'm Michael. I'm Mack. You already heard the intro. And now we get the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens coming in town. Or actually, I believe, we are at home. Back-to-back weeks. Trying to recoup what happened last week at home. And it's the 1-1 Cowboys hosting the 0-2 Ravens. Dad, this is a very crucial game, even if it's a non-conference opponent. It's really important Dallas gains confidence.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing there is the confidence. To get back confidence of the team, the fans. I don't know how much the confidence of the team is shaken. I mean, their biggest confidence is going to be probably in San Francisco when they go against that Shanahan learning tree. But this is a tough opponent. The Ravens are, even though they're 0-2, they are a playoff team. They are that caliber. I mean, you're going against the reigning MVP, although I think he should not have beat Dak in that voting. And, you know, a former recently two-time league rushing champ in Derrick Henry. I know you were really high on him in the offseason, wanting Dallas to get him.
That would have made a difference. I mean, I love that we have Zeke. I love all that, but Derrick Henry is still one of the best running backs
in a passing league. And you know, this game is going to be tough. I do know that, you know, Mozzie Smith was limited in practice this week with a back injury or back issues, and Jordan Phillips was placed on IR with a wrist, and we signed Carlos Watkins from the Commanders practice squad.
Let's talk about that real quick, because Carlos Watkins is now in Dallas again.
He's been here before. He did really well while he was here under Quinn.
Yeah, but now Jordan Phillips has gone to IR. And I don't know if you saw the tweet this past
week. There's been a lot of information going on about that wrist injury.
And Jordan Phillips swears up and down on social media his wrist isn't that bad. He's not really hurt, but he had to respect the team's decision and do what's best for the team. What? It's a confusing situation.
Well, I mean, basically, I hope that the organization, and I believe the organization always will default, and they generally do, they have in the past, to the team doctors. And we've got the team doctors in Dallas is on par with no one. I mean, they're a league of their own. They're amazing, you know, and so I would hope that they deferred to them in making that decision, not making it necessarily from a front office perspective or a coaching's perspective. You know, and there again, you're on IR. You're coming back probably in 4 weeks. Your next game will be against San Francisco after the bye, at best. So, I mean, you know, rest up, get healthy, get some exercise in, keep in shape, and come back strong, and let's finish out this season well.
Do you think there's going to be any lingering effects of, you know, just trust between the player and the rest of the organization?
I don't think so. But if there is, I have no doubt Stereo axe that and nip. In the words of Barney Fife, he'll nip it in the bud, son. He'll send you packing. I mean, you know, it's your money. I mean, you're a vested veteran, but there again, you know, you got to be there to get those paychecks.
Yeah, and you know, didn't do too much against the run, and that's why I am concerned from a defensive perspective going into this game, the way the Saints were able to, blow the top off the defense. They were able to hit Rashid Shaheed. Baltimore doesn't really have that deep passing threat, so I'm okay with that. But Dallas historically hasn't had a good run defense, and when you have to account for Lamar Jackson, when you have to account for Derrick Henry, I'm not entirely confident as I was after that first week that, hey, Dallas can actually stop the run.
Well, I may be totally off base. I mean, I wanted to try to block out that last game as much mentally as I can. But if you watched Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry are two different runners.
That is true.
You know, uh, Alvin Kamara is, he got to the sides and he stretched the defense. I mean, it really did. I mean, and so he was always hitting it on the outside for the most part. There wasn't the majority of their runs that were successful were not up the gut. So I mean the defensive tackles and the linebackers are wrong. So I mean guys on the end, you got to set that edge real good, push them back towards your middle, and let the linebackers eat. Everybody gets hit in the mouth in the NFL, and it's what do you do? How do you respond? Everybody deals with adversity. What do you do to respond to that? And I do believe that, I still have faith in this team. I mean, we're 1-1. Yeah, it was an ugly loss, but there again, so it was a 1-point loss. A loss is a loss, and it counts the same in the standings, and it sucks. We're technically tied for second with the Philadelphia Eagles, only because Washington beat up on the Giants last week. So, I mean, we're still in good position. The easiest way to get to the playoffs is win your division, and that's still within our grasp. Unfortunately, I do. Dallas is 1-5 all time against the Ravens, and with the lone win being under Mr. Prescott in his rookie year.
And that was the field goal, wasn't it? I want to say it was a field goal.
But I do remember that they won his rookie year. So I mean, I think Dak is like 1-1, 1-2 against them, something like that, which we don't play them that often.
Yeah, you play AFC teams once every 4 years, every presidential term.
So 16, 20, and 24. So I mean, he won in 16, they won in 20.
So now
it's our turn, 24.
Now's the rubber match. Now looking at it, I feel like as bad as that loss was last week, maybe this resets. I remember Dak Prescott mentioning in the media, hey, I want to establish the style of football we play, and they're going to have to adjust. So I love that confidence and demeanor for Dak Prescott, and that's why you paid him. That he is a leader on this team, and I am still super confident in the Cowboys locking Dak Prescott up long term.
Yeah, and he leads. I mean, the team, the players believe in Dak. He leads through example. Awesome person. So I mean, I don't know what ball. I mean, again, unfortunately it's like the Saints. It's like the other teams that we'll play throughout the year. I mean, unless they're a big rival or within division, I mean, the familiarity with their team isn't necessarily on parlay. I am a little concerned about Lively. Didn't like the kid when he was at Coastal. Like him less at Baltimore. And they've got a solid tight end group with him and Andrews. So I mean, what do we have to compete against these guys? Now, I will say this. I honestly, and I hope it don't come back to bite me, but I have no fear of Nelson Aguilar as a wide receiver.
I'm right there with you
You
because
know,
he was a punchline in Philadelphia. He's been a
he's been punchlining
punchline.
in New England.
Anywhere he's been, he's been a
Now, Zay
punchline.
Flowers, on the other hand, Zay Flowers is a legitimate wide receiver that uh, can strike fear in a defense. Bateman, yeah, he's a good second fiddle. Their offensive line is solid. Hopefully, our defensive line doesn't get shut out like they did last week, and they can generate pressure. But they also have to be leery of uh, Lamar taking and scooting around the edge or breaking containment and making long runs. Uh,
It'll be tough. It'll be a tough game. I am actually we're going to take a commercial break, and before I give you my prediction, before Dad gives you his prediction, we're going to give you a 1-star matchup. If you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you know what that means. We'll explain it right after the break on Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting here on Dad and the Boys. Welcome back to Dad and the Boys. I'm Michael, my dad Mac right here. Now, we chose a different approach today. We didn't wear any Cowboys apparel, so maybe that's a good luck charm when it comes to what happens this Sunday when the 1-1 Cowboys host the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens. You can look at those records and you can be like, oh, the Ravens haven't won yet, da da da. No, this is a legitimate threat. This is a legitimate team, and we are going to tell you the 1-star matchup. Now, if you've watched the last couple of weeks, you understand that this is one player versus one player, how they mesh, how they battle out. The winner of that battle could very well determine the outcome of this game. Now, you did choose the coaches last time, so I guess you could do player or coach in that scenario. I'll give you that. But, Dad, when you look at this Ravens and Cowboys matchup, what is your 1-star matchup?
Although I want to go Zimmer again this week and say, Zimmer, you got embarrassed. I do believe you will correct this ship, and our defense will match up well and hopefully lead us to victory against the Baltimore Ravens. My 1-star matchup is going to be offensive line against their defensive front seven. I'm taking the units, not the coach, not the player. I'm taking the units. Guys, y'all came out in Cleveland. Y'all had a great game, protected Dak, y'all ran the ball effectively. And then last week, Dak got sacked. Dak was under pressure, and then couldn't run the ball. I mean, and part of that was because we fell behind early, and there again too, you throw in that we were driving the ball on a routine basis. We were moving the ball. It was just something would happen, a misplay or pressure or something would throw us off kilter or penalty, anything like that. And next thing you know, we were behind the chains and a drive would stall. We need consistency. And I'm not throwing shade on the New Orleans Saints victory, but I will say this. There is no way that anybody in our viewing audience can sit there and tell me that this team can handle that front seven in Cleveland and then turn around and play like that because they lost all that talent. Now you're getting ready to go up against the Ravens defense. And the Ravens have always been known for their defense. Now it's time to step up and get back to that form that you had in the first week. I don't know why you had that let down last week. It happens. 40% of you are rookies. You're going to have those days. You had it. Move on. Let's move forward. Let's get some yards on the ground. Let's get some yards passing, and don't let him hit our quarterback's backside hit the ground.
I like it. Now, you went the exact opposite approach. You said our offensive line versus their defensive line. But I would go ahead and flip that right there because I feel like it is so important. Now, I've hammered it all week, either on Out of Pocket through Boom Broadcasting or on this show. it's going to be our defensive line up against their offensive line. We need to make sure that Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson can't run that football. You have to dare Lamar Jackson to pass. Now, that means Micah Parsons needs to step up. And Micah Parsons, you might be used by Mike Zimmer in a way of you're spying Lamar Jackson the entire time because you need to have somebody watching Lamar at all times to be able to stop the option run, see if he's passing. You got to step up Mozzie Smith. Like, Mozzie, you are playing Tyler Linderbaum. Linderbaum's their Baltimore Ravens center. Mozzie, if you want to be taken seriously in the NFL, Jordan Phillips just went on IR. They had to go get Carlos Watkins from the Washington practice squad. Mozzie, this is your team, your former first round pick. We saw another first round pick get benched. We don't want to see you get benched. So, Mozzie, you guys show up. Micah, you guys show up. So, my 1-star matchup is also a unit with that defensive line up against their offensive line. Who controls that line of scrimmage will dictate how this game plays out. Now, that brings us to our score prediction, our final score prediction. Dad, you've sticked with the theme the last couple of weeks. What are you going for this time?
Well, son, no offense to the Dudley boys, but the original 3D. Duke, Dallas, and Davis. Dallas by 1.
He's got Dallas by 1. You see, I had to rep some sort of favorite team apparel right now since we kind of agreed. Like, hey, let's not wear Cowboys gear on the preview episode. Let's see what happens. We'll just see. I'm really worried about this game, Dad.
I'm worried
really
about
worried.
it, but there again, there's not a game out there that I don't worry about. Even the Giants, this Washington team, I still won't call them the Skin. Sorry, I worry about them all. I mean, because any given Sunday, any team can get defeated. Uh, you know, they play in with an oblong-shaped, egg-looking ball, and it bounces in funny ways. Turnovers, injuries, a play here or a play there, can change the entire complex of a game. You were sitting there watching your game last night with App State, and
Can we not? Can we not?
And they're driving for a touchdown, and all of a sudden the ball is going back the other way. The same thing when we was in Duke. Driving the ball. Next thing you know, we're blinking, the ball's going back the other way, and it's like, what the heck just happened? A play, even though no matter how masterfully it's drawn up, can result in negative. It's like I told somebody one time. I said, when you're passing the ball, you got three things that can potentially happen: an incompletion, a reception, or an interception. 2 out of 3 are not good.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you just got to take it where it goes. I think, Dallas will do well. I think Baltimore's going to be nervous because they're going to be sitting there staring potentially 0-5 in the face. Because after us, they've got Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Yeah, it will.
It's for them. It's a make or break. But there again, the back end of their schedule isn't as bad. Ours is kind of front loaded a little bit now that New Orleans kind of surprises. But there again, throughout Mike McCarthy's coaching career in Dallas, I mean, there's always been a surprise team to beat us. Arizona last year.
Yeah, Arizona was tough. You just remind me of the 2 losses I didn't want to remember: Arizona and then that App State one last night.
I mean, it boils down to this. You're going to win some that nobody expects you to, and you're going to lose some that you weren't expected to. And what do you do? And this team, historically, under McCarthy, has shown the ability to bounce back after adversity.
Well, I hope that's the case. That's not what I'm taking for my prediction. I am going to take Baltimore 27-22. I'm taking Baltimore by 5.
I will tell y'all he's expensive, but he is up for adoption.
Hey, to be fair, my predictions have not went well at all this year, but I'm just.
And if that's the case, you can keep picking against them.
But I'm really concerned about our run defense, and until we can show that we can dominate the run game on both sides of the football, going up against a team that is strong at the run game, I just don't see it for Dallas this week.
You got your superstitions honest. I mean, I remember the first 2 games I went and saw Dallas play was against the Skins. One in Dallas and one in Washington.
When they were the Redskins, so to be fair.
And both of those were losses for the Cowboys, unfortunately. And I got tickets gifted to me for the Carolina Panthers, and that's the game I took your mom to. And you were a little young at the time. But I took your mom, and we went out, and we did the Carolina Panther game. And I looked at her, and I said, if they lose, I will never go to another live game again. So thank God Romo and T.O. took and led them to victory. And you were able to go to the Atlanta game and the Washington game in Dallas, and then the Jacksonville game that unfortunately we lost in overtime. Shouldn't have. But there again, that leads back to the thing. Sometimes, and I love Coach Mike. He's good about getting the team rallied around adversity and dealing with it. But also, he's one of those that, a surprise loss happens. And
you got to right the ship.
You got to right the ship, and you got to move on. And hopefully that's something they can do this year and this week, more specifically.
And we'll obviously be covering the Mike McCarthy press conference following the Cowboys game. That will be in Fans First Sports Network audio exclusive. And then Dad and the Boys will be back on Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network on video. So you get to see our lovely faces. And hopefully we're repping some Cowboy apparel celebrating a Cowboys victory and a wrong Michael Davis prediction. But that's all the time we have, guys. Be sure to go get your Fanatics apparel if you're a Cowboys fan. Use the link for Boom Broadcasting. It really helps and supports us. But we'll let you get back to your regularly scheduled lives. And thank you so much for listening to us on Fans First, for watching us on Boom Broadcasting for Dad and the Boys on the Star Studded Cowboys Network. And remember, this is our first rodeo. We'll catch you here next time.